we've been trying as politicians to speak these days in a rational way, in an unrational situation, and not to be emotional. And I would like to thank you, Manu, for allowing us to be emotional, because I think that we are living in a moment where all of us did not expect that we will live and get into a situation where we are asking very existential questions, including our humanity and our feelings. I would like to share with you, I have a brother-in-law, and of course I'm not bringing now a story from Gaza. I'm bringing a story of a Palestinian who lives in Nazareth, inside Israel, inside the historical Palestine. He is older than I am, and in the last few years, he used, even before the war, he used to tell me, I have a feeling that we might end up one day to be transferred and kicked out again from our homeland. He used to tell me that he wasn't born in the first Nakba, in the Nakba, but he have the feeling he is going to live the Nakba again. And I used to look at him in a very strange way and to tell him, how come you are talking like this? Listen, those days are over. The world is different today. There's the social media that can reveal all the crimes that can be committed in one moment to the world. They cannot do it anymore. They cannot just, through us from our homeland, they cannot just do that. In the last year, he is keeping asking me, Aida, do you still believe that my fears will never be implemented? And I'm telling you truly, I cannot answer this because I know I will be lying to myself. After a whole year that the whole world, the whole governments of the world, the whole international law establishment is looking at a genocidal war and looking at Gazan people fighting to survive and doing nothing, I believe that anything can happen if we do not wake up at this moment and try to stop this madness that is going around us. This war, or this genocide, couldn't have been implemented without the complicity and the silence of the world. I know that the international solidarity movement is very strong. We have never seen such solidarity, global solidarity with the Palestinian issue that we are seeing these days. But when I'm talking about the official international community, about the different governments who are not only complicit with this war negatively by being silent, but even they are taking part of this war actively by, everybody spoke here about giving arms to Israel and continuing supporting financially this war, continuing giving impunity to the Israeli government and the army for whatever crimes they are committing. We have seen attempts to take decisions in the Security Council that were immediately the United States of America put a veto on them. We could see how the world is taking part of this war. And of course, many of the people would say that this war started as a defense war. And They are legitimizing whatever is happening in this year under the title of Israel have the right to defend itself. And I would like to ask, does the Palestinian have the right to defend themselves? Is this an equal right for all people? Do the Palestinians have the right to defend themselves when they are targeted in everywhere they are just because of being Palestinians? If anybody thinks that this is a defense war, I should say very clearly, and we said it from the first day, Netanyahu's government saw a real historical chance for them. They took all the fear and agony that was felt in the Israeli society, and I'm talking as someone who is living there, and I can see things from very close. They took all the agony and the fear that was created after the attacks of 7th of October and made it an opportunity to implement a long-standing vision of the right-wing, very vast right-wing government, fascist government of continuous, not only occupation, but colonizing the Palestinian territories and transferring and ethnic cleansing of the different areas of the Palestinian territories. 2 days ago, everybody was shocked by Smotrich, the finance minister, declaration that now when Trump is in the White House, there is a possibility to go on with the annexation attempts of the West Bank. This should not be a surprise for anybody. If you go back 2 years ago when this government, Israeli government, was established, in the coalition agreement, they have a guideline speaking about annexation of parts of the West Bank. It's part of the agreement of the government. Smotrich had spoke about annexation far before the 7th of October. Smotrich demanded to be a minister in this government, in the defense ministry, and responsible for civilian issues of Palestinians under occupation since 1967, because he is planning to annexate. So this is not new, and this is not a reaction. Actually, the war is continuous because they want to use the time to implement what they have in their vision and mind of annexating as much as Palestinian land as they can. And of course, Trump entering the White House will be very useful for this government, for the endless support that he is giving. I think that we have to remember that we are facing not only, first of all, the genocidal war, the genocide on the Gazan people, but also a very hard war on the Palestinians in the West Bank. What is going on in the Palestinian territories in the West Bank, especially on the refugee camps, cannot be ignored or cannot be silenced, because, and I do connect those attacks and the war on the refugee camps with the UNRWA, banning the UNRWA work in the West Bank. And I'm saying in the West Bank and not only, and Gaza, and not only inside Israel. We stood against that law in the Knesset. We were the only ones who stood against the law and against the war and against every practice that this fascist government is practicing inside Israel. But the UNRWA law says very clearly that they are banning the actions of the UNRWA or the services of the UNRWA under in the territories that are under the Israeli control. And on the other hand, they are banning any official to deal with the UNRWA, and probably the UNRWA representative would speak more about it. That means there is no possibility almost for the UNRWA to act. And you have to understand, it's very dangerous that they are banning the UNRWA. It's very, it will damage the humanitarian services given to the refugees. But the main target is not the UNRWA. The main target is the refugee problem. They want to liquidate this terminology of there is refugees. Instead of taking responsibility and acting, and I said it and I'm saying here again, those who don't want to see Palestinian refugees, give them the possibility to go back home. Give them the right of return, and then you will not have any refugees. But they want to liquidate the problem of the refugees. I would like to say that complicity in this war cannot continue like this because it is an urgent situation. I know that I don't have enough time, but I will say it very clearly that whoever is talking about the day after should understand that the day after is designed today. As long as this war continues, they are designing how the Palestinian issue, the Palestinian rights will look in the day after. We need now, in an urgent way, first of all, to stop the war. Let's fight about one state, two states later. Meanwhile, there is an apartheid colonialist state called Israel. What we need now is to stop the killing and the war. And second, we need also to recognize, the whole world should recognize the state of Palestine. And if there was in the beginning negotiating would end in the end of the negotiations with a Palestinian state today, the beginning should be recognizing the Palestinian state. And now let's talk how we implement the right of self-determination of the Palestinians. I think it's about time just to say one word to the solidarity movement. We were amazed by the solidarity movement and the action of the solidarity movement, the global solidarity movement. And I want to tell you that today we need your solidarity because this war is not going to stop without your pressure. You've been putting all your pressure in confronting the Israeli government. We would like to ask you, continue, this is good, but please confront your governments. Put pressure on your governments so that they will change their attitude and will act to put pressure on the Israeli government and stop this war. Otherwise, this war is not going to stop by itself or by a free Israeli decision. We need you to use all the pressure measures, all the accountability measures, and all the international law measures in order to stop immediately this war so that we can continue. We would like your solidarity with us. We are a minority in Israel, not only a national minority, but a peace minority, or at least anti-occupation minority. They are trying to ban us from being represented in the Knesset. They are pushing for a law for that. We need you to solidarate and to speak about this fact. My comrade, Ofer Kassif, has been 2 days ago, he has been suspended from the Knesset for 6 months. I used to be suspended for 2 months. He is now suspended for 6 months. And the only problem that we made or that we committed is that we are standing up against this war, against the occupation, speaking out very hardly against it. So please continue your work, continue your solidarity. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for all the work you are doing.